Welcome back to Sika Strength and welcome back to Sika Today we're going to be looking at one of the best snatch sessions I've had in quite literally years. We're going to be looking at some of the cues I'm focusing on. We're going to be looking at how I'm using the snatch pull to improve my snatch and also how I am programming the snatch pull and squat to benefit both of them. Now in this particular session, as you know, I'm just fresh off breaking my foot a couple of weeks ago. I obviously had a bit of a break from snatching, but I ended up doing 120 kilos for 4 doubles. I'll be honest, I wasn't planning or really expecting this in this particular session, but you can see here at 100 kilos, things were going quite well. And I thought, you know what, these 100 kilos feel like I could obliterate some 120 kilo doubles before I get to them. Now, the reason this is one of the best snatch sessions I've had in quite a while is that I had a very big break in snatching, nearly 18 months or so, where I just didn't do any snatching. I did about 2 or 3 weeks last year before I went to Japan, just messing around, didn't spend much time with it, focused on the squat basically all of last year. Prior to that, I had a brief section during the summer where I spent about 4 or 5 months snatching, but before that I had about 9-10 months away from snatching. This was purely by choice. I was in a place where I wanted to do some different things. It wasn't that I didn't love weightlifting anymore, but just wasn't something I wanted to do right then. So over 2 years or more, there hasn't been a lot of snatching, but these 120s, the speed, the positions are really something I'm happy with. There's still a lot to improve upon, but just as far as appreciation for good quality session goes, this is one of them. Now, there's a lot of great things about this, but 2 main things that I was focusing on here is my upper back position as I'm pulling. And you'll see on some of these reps, I lose the position a little bit. My back slightly rounds, doesn't maintain that slightly extended position that I'm looking for. I'm arching as much as possible, but that range of motion still looks like a mildly flat back position. If I had more room to arch, I would, but I do not, and I'm working on it. But you'll see at these 120 kilo doubles here, the better that arch is, you can see as my chest stays prouder, as my shoulders stay in a better position, you'll see the better quality lifts are. Now, the second thing I'm focusing on is just hitting warp speed after I pass the knee of the barbell. I'm just thinking, let me go as fast as possible and as long as possible in that pull. Now, interestingly for me, these two are quite synonymous. These are more of feelings that I'm looking for rather than super conscious thought while I'm lifting. The back position is something where I am deliberately and intentionally focusing on keeping my chest up as much as possible in the setup, and then as I pull. But the fast and long extension is more of a timing issue. It's quite second nature to me when I'm bringing it in. So I think about it before the lift, and then as I'm going through that second and third pull, it's already like a pre-programmed action that happens quite automatically. So a long but really fast second pull and a long extension and a fast extension are things that I'm definitely focusing on here, but it's not fully deliberate in here. It's a little bit too late. I'm deliberately thinking about those. I'm definitely thinking about them, definitely conscious of them, but it's almost just below the level of conscious thought. But again, as I say, I'm very, very happy with these 120s given the situation. Now, one of the ways I'm improving this back position for me is lots and lots of snatch pulls. It's something Anton says I need to do every time I'm snatching. And you see me working up to 150 kilos here for sets of 3. Now, I'm balancing quality snatch pulls between squatting. So obviously if I squat first, snatch pulls aren't going to be as good. If I pull first, my snatches or my squats are going to suffer a little bit. So generally I look for 2 good quality squat sessions a week. I'm squatting 3 times a week. And if I have 2 good sessions a week, I'll give priority to the snatch pulls before I go do my squats. Now, I usually leave this to a session where if snatching feels great, I know I'm going to get some good quality snatch pulls that'll feel like I can snatch them. So generally I'll do a little bit of extra volume and I'll go a little bit heavier. Now I'm working off a max of 140 kilos because that's the most I've snatched since I got back to training. So these are 150 kilos, so slightly heavier. I look for my back position. As long as my back position stays, I will stay going with the snatch pulls. Then if I start losing position, the barbell slows down. That's generally enough volume for that day. That usually works up to about 6 sets of 3 at meaningful weights. Then I know that in this particular session, my squats might not be as fresh. So I would like to have done 220 for 3 to 4 sets of 3 on this particular session. The session before, I had some very nice sets of 3 at 220 kilos. I know I have one more session of squats on Sunday. So I know that on this particular session, when I did this top set of 220 for 3, the 3rd rep, I started to do a technical habit that I don't want to reinforce, which is those elbows flaring up and my back rounding slightly. So that's something that I'm really trying to get rid of. and it's something I don't want to be reinforcing. My legs felt tired just acutely from that session, just from lack of resources, from lots of snatching, heavy snatching, fast snatching, lots of pulls, heavier pulls. So I know that, look, yes, I could grind out more sets at 220 kilos. I've already had a good squat session before this. I'm going to have another squat session in 3 days' time. So there's no point forcing a good session here. When 2 good quality stats sessions or squat sessions a week are enough, I know that let me dedicate my some resources to those snatch pulls today, and then next Sunday I will focus on a better quality or higher volume squat session and allow then those snatch pulls or probably clean deadlifts to take a little bit of a hit. So just before I go, people like Anton are helping me massively, of course. Kevin Prunty, KP Therapy, you'll see that elbow extension improving massively. I'm seeing him every week. It's improving hugely. Alex is helping out with nutrition and other lifestyle factors. So just say a note of appreciation for those people who are helping me, get to where I want to go. So I hope you enjoying training vlogs. I certainly like doing them, and I like organize my thoughts around how do I present to you what I'm doing. The goals are obviously big snatch, big squat. So I want to present this in a way where, this is why I'm doing what I'm doing. So I hope you enjoy these training vlogs.